5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 135 pounds, fighting out of Jordan, Ecuador, Marlon Chito Vera!
Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining us. And today we're going to be talking about the headliner of tomorrow night's main event, UFC Fight Night main event. We got Marlon Chito Vera today, ladies and gentlemen. So sit back, relax, and we're just going to talk about Chito as he gears up for arguably the biggest test of his career in Dominick Cruz. Marlon Andres Vera Delgado was born into a middle-class family in Chonay, Ecuador on December 2nd, 1992. He has two siblings, and throughout his youth, he was known for causing ruckus and getting into fights. He was kind of a scrappy guy and would get into fights. He picked up other passions, really enjoyed surfing, tried other sports, but when he was 16, he walked into a jiu-jitsu gym. Right when he walked into the jiu-jitsu gym, he knew he wanted to be a UFC fighter, and many people laughed at him, especially considering that really no one from Ecuador had made it far at all in MMA. Chito's really a pioneer of Ecuadorian mixed martial arts. He's been competing in the sport for a long time. He turned amateur, or made his amateur debut all the way back in 2011, and debuted professionally in 2012. He competed for multiple different regional promotions in Latin America, and then eventually, with a record of 6-1-1, would try out for the Ultimate Fighter in 2014 and obviously make the cut. He competed for Team Verdum in the show and won his first bout against Henry Briones in the quarterfinal bout with a knockout. However, Chito was forced to leave the semifinal bout as he was not able to compete due to a nasty skin infection and was replaced. UFC didn't just forget about Vera though. They actually allowed him to make a UFC debut against a castmate, Marco Beltran, on November 15th of 2014. He would lose this fight, sadly, by a unanimous decision. He would be then given the opportunity to face Roman Salazar and win by a triangle armbar 2 minutes 15 seconds into the second round, gifting him the performance of the night bonuses.
60 G's, baby!
Chito's early career in the UFC was kind of up and down. He would go on to fight Davy Grant and drop a unanimous decision, then beat Guan Yao Ning in a decision, beat Brian Kelleher in a win that has aged fairly decently, but then also beat Brad Pickett by a head kick, which was a great finish. Also, the Brian Kelleher win was by armbar. He was known more for his jiu-jitsu at this time. He would then go on to fight and lose to John Lineker and Douglas Silva de Andrade, then also fight Guido Canetti and win by rear naked choke. This was one of his better victories as of late, at least until he started to really come on and pick things up later in his career. He would then beat Frankie Saenz in a really a highlight reel KO once again. And then to continue this finish streak, he would beat Nolan Hernandez, defeat Andre Ewell by ground and pound in the third round. He would then go on to have a couple of more canceled bouts, but finally get a fight against Song Yadong. And this fight he would lose, but it was a pretty close decision. And also this win ages pretty decently, especially with the emergence of Song Yadong in the bantamweight division. And guys, we got to consider bantamweight, most stacked division. Lightweight is here, bantamweight's here. Like, people put it the other way, they're wrong. Bantamweight's the most stacked. Then he would go on to have, at least in most casuals' eyes, his best victory over Sean O'Malley, a victory that's disputed by Sean O'Malley, but I mean, it was nasty kicks. He worked well and won by ground and pound. He would then go on to get the biggest test of his career, and it was 1-1 going into the third round. He fought Jose Aldo. He would drop that decision, but the loss doesn't age poorly at all. I mean, Jose Aldo is a legend. It's always going to look good on his record, even at win-loss. It was still a good fight. But then after this Jose Aldo loss, something must have, a fire lit inside of him, as it seemed to have had after this Song Yadong fight, where he would go on to defeat Davy Grant by a unanimous decision, kind of re-solidifying himself as a legit force in the bantamweight division. He would then go on to get, well, I mean, the infamous front kick KO of Frankie Edgar, one of the greatest front kick KOs of all time. Then he would go on to get that first main event slot against Rob Font. A lot of people felt like this was a really hard stylistic matchup for Chito, and Rob Font, someone that's really great with his jab. Chito, someone that, will start a bit slower and willing to cover up and just eat damage by covering up. Not the best head movement in the world. People were kind of doubting Chito in this matchup, but he would go on to pick up a dominant performance in really what's going to be a Fight of the Year candidate. I mean, Rob Font hung in there, took some of Chito's best shots, but Chito just dominated all around and put in just work. He beat him up. I mean, that sidekick knockdown that he had, I think it was a sidekick that knocked him down, or it was he just stumbled him with, but still, that's one of my favorite moments of anyone utilizing a sidekick in MMA. But now he's facing Dominick Cruz Saturday night, and a lot of people are pretty excited for this, including myself. It's going to be a good matchup. It's actually really intriguing because Dominick Cruz always, he brings something that makes the fights interesting with his, I guess, somewhat unorthodox style. But as MMA's evolved, people have started to catch up with it, able to time it like Pedro Munoz did, and can damage him like Henry Cejudo did. And also a lot of people move like that now. Not the same way, but similar. And Chito knows how to deal with that. I think this matchup is pretty decent for Chito. Dominick Cruz, though, is a master of stealing rounds. He will find that takedown late round like he did against Casey Kenny to really solidify that victory. He will find takedowns later on in rounds. And in most judges' eyes, if it's a close round leading up to that, he gets that takedown, that's his round. I know more of the judging criteria is under scrutiny. Everyone knows it's about damage now, but still, Dominick Cruz will take you down in the final like 15, 20 seconds and land a bit of damage and steal a lot of rounds from you. So you have to be really careful not to get in a close fight with him and then let your guard down as the round comes to an end. For Chito, we know this guy can go 5 rounds, no problem. I mean, he put a pace on Rob Font that was just, I mean, you can't question the guy's gas tank. So there's definitely some confidence for Chito going in a 5-round fight. However, Dominick Cruz has fought almost his entire career in 5-round fights. The fight's definitely an intriguing matchup, but right now, and I'm not trying to just ride some hype train of Chito. I know a lot of people are high on this guy in the scene, but I really do believe he beats Dominick Cruz in a career-defining matchup. I think he'll probably get it done by a decision or maybe a 4th-round stoppage or 5th-round stoppage. I right now, I'm probably looking at like a 49-48 for Chito. I think he'll drop the first 2 and then win the final 3. And the 5th round's going to be really close, or 4th round, one of those is going to be really, really close. But I think Chito gets it done. I think this fight's going to be really interesting, though, because Chito can finish fights, and I would not be surprised to see him get a finish in the 4th round because he's a master of utilizing those up the middle techniques as well, like uppercuts and front kicks and knees. And that will discourage Dominick Cruz from shooting a lot of takedowns in on him. So it makes the fight interesting. Chito's very, very long for this division. The guy's, I mean, he's not a weight bully, but he's definitely pretty dang big to be fighting 135. Like, he's 5'8", but he's super long. Like, he's got a 70.5-inch reach, which is like longer than most people that are like 6 feet. So the guy's tall. The guy's very long. So he makes the fights more intriguing. If he can keep Dominick Cruz away from him with teeps, with front kicks, and not get his shots caught, I think he'll probably take this fight. So right now, I got Marlon Vera by decision or maybe a 4th round TKO. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Please, please, please. I know it's annoying when YouTubers say this. I always used to think, why do YouTubers ask this? It's super annoying. But really, man, you like this video, you subscribe, you comment. It really does a lot. It pushes the video in the algorithm and just helps me like get seen more. And as someone that really, like, my big goal in life is to grow on this platform. So when I can get my videos and my content pushed out there more, it really does help. So yeah, take 2 seconds of your time. Just comment like an emoji or something. I don't know. I don't care. I love seeing the comments no matter what. Comment your opinions.